Hi there, just getting started. Just wait for a little bit for people to show up. I'll get my questions ready. Hope you can hear me okay. So just write in the chat there if you're having any troubles. If you can't hear me, just let me know. We'll wait for a few more people to show up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, sorry, I took a bit of technical troubles to get this one started, but yeah, this is my first time at Facebook Live, so a little bit nervous. So thanks for joining me and giving me some moral support. We've just had a great morning with the kids in town here. They put on a kids festival, so lots of kid duties this morning for me. So glad to be joining you and giving you some information about writing or compiling an autobiography. So just think I can hear everyone there. Got some comments, that's great. So we might just jump into it if you like. I had a few questions come in on the email this week, mainly people on my website list, but some from the Facebook, so that's great to see. I'll introduce myself. My name's Nicola, and I run the website Forever Young Autobiographies. It's a bit of a project that I've started up, and it's great to see that people are really interested, getting more interested in recording their life stories, family stories, recording them for future generations so that, things aren't lost. So I've been a daily journalist, newspaper journalist for 15 years. I've worked in Australia and overseas, and we do stories, hundreds of stories every day almost, or every week. So and I'm also writing, helping my grandmother write her autobiography. So she's 98 just the other week, so that was amazing milestone for her. But I've really enjoyed that process, and it is a process. But we've bonded a lot, and I've learned so many amazing things from her that I didn't even know. Like, for example, I didn't even know that she had been a journalist back in her earlier years. So that was a bit of a mind blowout for me. But yeah, she's been steadily working at it, and I've been helping her. So yeah, trying to inspire more people. So I just look at the questions here that I got. The main one, and there was a few of you who wrote this one in, was where to start is really a big one. Why do people, where do we go first? Like, you've got that classic blank empty page. Where do you go to first? And I suppose the hardest thing is, like, do you start at the beginning? Do you start like at my ancestors? Do you start when I was born? And I would say, yeah, you can do that. And with my grandmother's story, we did do the ancestors first. That was her preference. But look, there's no real starting line. You just need to start where you feel comfortable, what excites you, what you might like to share first. You can write a short story and then it kind of all gets woven in together. So start where your energy level is quite high, you're excited, it's stuff you want to share, it's like the memories are quite fresh in your mind, or you can recollect them quite easily. So that's where I would say, and just sit down, have a crack at it for say 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Don't sort of overanalyze it, just leave that self-critic, that internal dialogue alone. Just go for it, write it down, whether it's notepad and pen or on the computer, and just have fun. Like, get it out there. It's not going to be the best thing in the world. Like, it's just going to be a first try. And even the best writers in the world, their first drafts, no one sees their first drafts pretty much because they're first drafts. So just take that pressure off yourself and pick something that, is exciting for you, that you're energetic about. And keep in mind too who you're writing for, because that will really help gauge or direct, what you want to record. So I keep that top of mind. Like, are you writing it for your kids? Are you writing it for your grandchildren rather? Or are you writing it just for yourself? Like, some people are just writing just to process it, and writing is a process. It helps you get a different perspective on your life. You're obviously older. You can sort of join the dots, so to speak. You can get more perspective. So doing it for yourself is fine as well. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that. So yeah, thanks Jan for that question. That was a good one. So I'm just going to move right along here. I've got 3 questions. So we're just going to start out slowly. This is my first time on Facebook Live. So yeah, be easy on me. The second question, and again, this is another really common question, is, okay, Nicola, I want to write my life story. I'm committed, but I can't remember stuff. It's so long ago. Like, it could be 50 years ago. Like, dredging up that stuff can be really hard. Like, but as a side note, your long-term memories are actually, like, they're in the bedrock of your brain. They are there. So you just need to sort of do a bit of decluttering, kind of dredge them out, bring them to the top. So the best way to do that I find, is to look through your treasures. I like to call them treasures. We all have, like, well, in my case, they're just over there, big boxes of photo albums, school reports, clippings, letters, certificates, anything like that, you know, it's your, not bric-a-brac, but, you know, it's the special stuff that you would grab if there was a cyclone, or if there was a fire, or, you know, something terrible was happening like that. That's the record that you've lived. It is proof. That's stuff that you want to refer to. So opening that up, taking, you know, a Sunday afternoon like this, just to go through it, just to go flick through those old reports. Oh, the teacher thought I was like this. This is the characteristics that, you know, they mentioned. And you'll find yourself reflecting on that. Or, oh, look, these are my better subjects. Or you might flick to a newspaper story that says, you know, for example, you know, you did well in water polo, 19 whatever. So that will help just dredge those long-term memories up to the surface. And the great thing about this is that they have all the details. Like, they might have the photo, you know, of you standing by the pool with your teammates, and you can remember. It brings back that memories, like, what kind of weather was it? What colour was that outfit you were wearing? Or all those kind of things. So yeah, dig into those treasures, have a look. You never know what you're going to find. And look, more often than not, you're going to have too many ideas from going in there. So take heart that you just take note. You're not going to be able to do everything in one go, but have a notebook, just jot down things that you'd like to include. And that way you can come back to it, and you never really have writer's block, because you've got so much stuff there just to keep sparking new ideas. So the other point I have to make on that is to ask other people. So, you might have other members in your family, especially like your siblings. If there's a key milestone event in your life that you'd like to write about, say perhaps it might be, graduation, it could be starting of a new job, or even getting married, something like that it has to go in your life story. You can't not skip over that one. So I would suggest that, talk to them, see what they remember. Like, you've got your memories and that's your perspective. But if you ask them, say, hey, do you remember much about that day? This happened, do you remember? Like, just do a little bit of an informal interview, and, it's really interesting what will come out of that, what will inspire you to say, that's right. Like, it will trigger more memories. So, yeah, don't discount talking to other people. And especially I would make special mention is to try and interview some people in your family who are perhaps, the older generation, because, their memories are really, really, they go a long way back. So get to those if you can, especially, you never know. So that would be a second good idea for memories there, Jen. A simple one and a fun one that everyone can do, the third point on that is just going for a walk around your house. Like you might have photos on the wall, or in a few friends' case, they have like knickknacks from their travels. Picking up objects around your house will spark memories and spark stories. So objects are a great one that will get you, inspired or dredging up ideas. So that would be my big three. So you've got looking in your treasures, talking to other people, and just walking around your house. Like it's amazing, you sort of overlook things, but they are right in front of your nose. So that would be the top three. So got a few viewers here, I can see that. So thanks for joining me, everyone. If you've got any comments, just put them in the chat there below. And if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask me right now, I'm more than happy to do that. So I'll just put them in ahead of time, and I should see them. So that should be good. All right. I've got one last question for you today. So we'll just move along. This is a really good one. Hey there, Romy. Good to see you on. The last one I've got is, it's about beginning your story again, but some people, they like to have a little bit of structure. And hey, I'm a bit of a structure girl. I don't mind a bit of structure in my life. My husband would say, yes, she loves lists. She's a list girl. But yes, when I'm writing my stories, especially at the newspaper, I like to have like, okay, these are my key points that I'd really like to, these are the priorities. So some people like to wing it. They like to fly by the seat of their pants and they just write. And it can sometimes turn out like that's fine. But the majority of us, the mere mortals, we like to have a bit of a structure, and that is a sliding scale. You can have just your bare bones, or you can go really, really complicated. Like it is there's a bit of a division between the extremes. So I would just say, look, aim for a basic structure in the beginning. That will give you a bit of a guide, and that way you sort of, okay, you know what to go on to next. Again, start with an area that inspires you, but don't get too nitty gritty, if you like, because writing a book or making some kind of record it's kind of like it's got its own evolution. So you have a structure, but it's not necessarily specifically strict. What you start out in the beginning, your first draft, it's naturally going to alter, in some ways when you get to the end. So I like to sort of break it down into there's three real key areas that you can organise a structure, and it will depend on your life and what sort of grabs you or interests you. The main one that most people would probably go for would be like the life phases. So you probably, you could start like when you open the book, say for example, when you start reading it, think about your reader. You would start with, say, a bit of background. So that could be about your ancestors and where they've come from. So that's a basic one. And then you would move into, say, your folks, your parents, a bit about that background. It doesn't have to be huge, but you're just setting the context. And then, of course, you've got your birth. So these are all your ancestors and early memories. And then that just transitions, really. Like you've got these life phases. So ancestors, birth, sort of your younger years, I suppose, schooling years, and then it would go to, high school, early career, perhaps marriage, children, moving around. If you're like us, we've moved everywhere. So, sometimes that's a logical step. And then, of course, right up to present day. So that's one way you can do structures. The other way is simply to do it by time. So you might have like the 1940s. This is what happened to me in the 1940s or the 1950s, and you just take it decade by decade. That can work perfectly fine for some people. So that's another way of looking at it. The third way would be time. So as in your age. So instead of doing, say, decades of the century, so to speak. You could do decades of your own age. So you've got your birth, first 5 years or first 10 years, and you just do it that way and go up the line to present day or to whenever. Then the third one, which I would recommend, is to sort of, I like to say, take a bit of a movie director's view of your life, sort of stand back and look at it and sort of say, okay, if I was going to really tell this story, like, we really have to sort of emphasise this bit, there's a natural scene here. So say when I look back at my own life, I might have lived at a couple of different places. So, or I've lived overseas in this section and then, you know, lived here. So that might be the best way for me to divide it. But there's lots and lots of different ways. So they're probably just the main three. So you've got, your life phases, the time in terms of like the centuries, the decades, then your own age sort of time. There are lots of different creative ways that I've seen people divide up the structure of their book. You've got, for example, people who like to write maybe it's a couple, like they like to do a joint autobiography. There's such a thing. Say for example, the husband, right? The husband or the grandparent, the grandfather, he might do the first bit, and then the grandmother might do her sort of first ancestors' younger years, and then they come together to write the marriage chapter or the early, you know, that kind of courting sort of phase, so to speak. And then they might then alternate. So she might do, you know, the young family years, and then he might write a bit about where they lived or that phase, sort of say, that career. So, and then they can alternate then until present time and maybe write a concluding chapter together. So, yeah, don't worry too much. Like, you can be really creative, but sometimes those options work just as well. So, yeah, they're probably the main questions I had. If you've got anything else you'd like to ask me, then feel free just to type it in now. I do, on my website, have a free video actually that walks you through all those structure. It's like exercises, I suppose. You can sit down and do that. I do them with you. You just go to the home page and you'll see on the, I think it's the left-hand side, Get Started Now. You click that and it'll take you to a free video. Sign you up to my articles, frequent articles, and you'll get a link to the video which you can watch, and then I'll go through it with you and we can nut it out, and just bringing all those ideas of the structures, the different types of ways you can arrange it, and yeah, then you're ready to roll. So give that a go. Yeah, so the website is foreveryoungautobiographies.com. So come on by, have a look. There's lots of free articles there about planning to write, writing your story, editing it, sort of and getting it published. So yeah, I hope that's inspired you to get motivated. Sort of don't be too self-conscious about starting. Writing it's a hard thing to do, but it's just like anything, like riding a bike. Like, you need to just start, fall off, have some crashes, and just slowly, you know, keep going. But you know, the hardest thing is taking the time to just commit to it, and getting motivated to start. And many people say, oh, I wish I'd done that, you know, but they don't. So the fact that you're here means you're ahead of the game. It means that you're taking some action, and that's the best thing. So any action's better than none. So yeah, send me an email. Let me know what you're struggling with or what you'd like help with. More than happy to write back. And again, just go to the website, have a look, and be in touch. So thanks very much for stopping by. I might try and do this one again in another month or so. We'll see how we go, what sort of feedback we have. So thanks for tuning in. Okay, bye.